So you're thinking of moving to Arizona and you have your sights set on the Phoenix area. You're starting to do some research. Where do you go? There's so many places around here. There's Tempe, there's Mesa, there's Scottsdale, there's Gilbert. Where do you go? So in today's video, we are going to go into the pros and cons of living right here in Chandler, Arizona. Stick around. What's up, everyone? Evan Picorni here, Go for Poco with eXp Realty and Expert Collaborative. Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona Living, the official YouTube channel for all things living in the Valley of the Sun. And if you like what you see here, please give the video a like. It really helps out the channel. Give us a subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notifications on all things Phoenix, Arizona. And let's get to it. The pros and cons of living right here in Chandler. So we're just going to talk about the elephant in the room and just go ahead and just get the cons out of the way, because I know everyone is saying the same thing, especially all my friends in California. They're saying it's hot. It's just hot as shit there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about the heat. Number one con here in the Phoenix area is the heat. So when it comes to the heat in Chandler, you will notice this. Older towns or older homes that were built in the 80s and 90s are in the north end of town. And then the homes start to get newer the further south you get. And or even in the south end of town, like where I live, is probably the newer area of town. But that is still, you know, these homes were built in the early 2000s. So they're around 20 years old. The homes up north in the north end of town were more 80s and 90s. So you're looking about 30 to 40 years old. That being said, the pools that came with the majority of the residences in this area are probably in need of maintenance. The plaster bottoms are starting to wear out. That old textured concrete is starting to crack. You'll start to see a lot of maintenance that needs to happen with these older pools on these older residentials. So keep that in mind if you're looking in this area. The newer homes are in the southernmost area of town, and then all the newer development is starting to go west towards Gilbert, Queen Creek, a little bit further south in Santan Valley, but we'll talk about that in another video. Now, when it also comes to fun in the water, there are plenty of splash parks around town, and especially in Gilbert. There's plenty in Phoenix, in Tempe, in Mesa. They're all around the valley, and they're not far of a drive. So if you have kids and you don't have a pool and that's your only option, they are really close. And the freeway system, which we'll talk about here in a minute in the pros list, nothing is really too far away from anywhere you're at. It's either 20 minutes or 1 hour. So nothing is really a gamble when it comes to finding any kind of fun to cool down in the valley. If you want natural water, there's plenty of lakes and rivers. There's the Salt River nearby that's probably about an hour away. There's Saguaro Lake, about the same, about an hour and a half or so. Canyon Lake, there's Apache Lake. There's even a little recreational pond that you can kayak and fish in the Veterans Oasis Park that's literally 7 minutes away from my house. There are tons of options when it comes to finding any kind of waterways to have any kind of aquatic fun in, so that's never a problem. So if water sports are your thing, this is definitely the place to be. Okay, so let's get into the second con, which kind of relates into the summer and the heat and everything. Let's go ahead and talk about monsoon season and the monsoons. We'll go ahead and say that that's number two for the cons. So when monsoon season hits, it's usually the early to middle June, and it goes till about the end of September. Now, we here love monsoon season because it brings rain, and we always need rain. This is the Phoenix area. This is the Valley of Arizona. This is the desert. So we very much pride ourselves on water preservation. So when it rains, we love it. Now, the only caveat to that rain when it comes to monsoon season is, of course, the monsoon itself, the dust storm that comes with it. So I've gotten used to telling people this. If you're on the road, you pull over. If you're on the freeway, you slow down. And I think we'll talk about the drivers in this area too. That'll be another con, but we'll get to that here in a second. If you're out somewhere in public, at a store, at a movie theater, at the mall, whatever the case may be, then you just get inside. If you're at home, same thing, just get inside. The main thing you want to keep in mind though is your patio furniture. Anything, pillows, sheets, curtains, umbrellas that cover your dining set. Yeah, put those down, tuck that shit inside, because those are going to blow all over the fucking neighborhood. And you're never going to get those back. I'm kidding. Sometimes people get their stuff back. It's not an all the time thing. Just got to be mindful of it. That's all. But that would probably be the worst thing about the monsoons is the dust storm. Again, if you have a pool, after a dust storm comes, you're definitely going to see the brown on the bottom of the pool. Your pool sweeper is going to make a nice little blue path around the bottom, so it'll get clean, but that's kind of a little bit of a caveat. It's not too much of a bad thing, but the fine dust will get everywhere. So keep that in mind. Dust storms are a little bit of a bitch, but the rain that comes afterwards is well worth the wait. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the traffic here. Jesus help me. Okay, so we have some of the worst and yet some of the most respectful drivers. I don't know if that can ever make sense, but we have a lot of very aggressive drivers. We have drivers that go 20, 30 miles over the speed limit. Sometimes you get on the freeway, you get a lot of people that go 85, 90, 95. It's kind of chaos out there. So on the freeway system, if you can stand driving 75, 80, you're good. But you will get people that will tailgate you when you're going 85. And it is the most annoying thing ever. But you do get used to it. There are, unfortunately, there are a lot of wrong way drivers on the freeway. And I think this is because of the way that our on-ramps and off-ramp systems are set up. So the way this works is if you're getting on the freeway, you have two lights that you kind of go through before you actually get on the freeway. So basically the turning lane to get onto the freeway starts a little bit further back. And I think that's what confuses people, because when you get into the turning lane to get onto the freeway, you get through two lights. The first light being the light for the people getting off the freeway, the second light being the turning lane to actually get on the on-ramp to the freeway access. So what I think happens is there's a little bit of an impairment going on. This is always happening late at night, anywhere from the hours of like 1 in the morning to 4 in the morning. The accidents are usually occurring, like I said, they're wrong way on the freeway, but they're usually occurring in the carpool lane, which if they were going the wrong way in that direction, the carpool lane would be confused as the slow lane. So people get on the freeway going the wrong way, getting into the carpool lane, thinking that it is the slow lane. And so, yeah, I think that's how people get confused, going the wrong way on the freeway. Now, given I'm originally from California and the 99 was probably the worst highway I would ever drive, I could not stand driving that, and especially with the job that I had, having to drive from Fresno to Visalia every single day, it was pretty grueling, and it definitely gets to you. So coming out here, I think we get an amalgamation of everybody from around the nation with their different driving habits coming into the valley, and it's just kind of like a melting pot of drivers. So I like to look at it more of a diverse driving plan rather than road rage haven. But we do have some issues. Just like every city, we do have some issues. So I did find that to be something pretty interesting when I moved here. All right, the fourth con we're going to talk about is the affordable housing here in Chandler. Now, keep in mind that when I talk about the affordable housing, we are talking about Chandler specifically. So there are other options when it comes to anything that may be a little bit more in your affordability, in your buying range, in your buy box, whatever scenario you're actually looking for. So Chandler is a bit of a picky situation whenever it comes to something that is affordable. So one thing that I have noticed that whenever I first moved here in 2018, I was doing my research in early 2018, late 2017. When I was doing my research, I was finding out the affordability rate in Chandler versus Fresno, California, where I'm from. Now, at the time, it was 21% cheaper to live in Chandler, Arizona than it was in Fresno. 21, I think the exact number was like 21.4%. I'd have to double check that to make sure. But now it is 10% more expensive to live here in Chandler than it is in Fresno. Now, here's why before you start panicking. Here's the main reason why. Now, with the immense amount of job growth happening in the area, not just in Chandler, but in the entire Phoenix area, that is starting to price a lot of people out of the market. So the affordability rate is actually starting to be a pretty big concern for Chandler residents. And anyone looking to come into the area, it's a pretty big concern. On the other hand to that, it's because of the immense amount of job opportunity. For example, in Phoenix, we are looking at being the new tech hub of the US, if not the world. We're pretty much considered the new Silicon Valley. Several tech companies have decided to move over here and decided to break ground with new facilities. Taiwan Semiconductor, they're building an enormous campus on the north end of town, just on the west side of the I-17. The entire campus is 2 square miles by 1 mile. The fab that they're working on right now is supposed to start operation in sometime in 2024, I believe. That's 1,000 acres alone. This campus is going to be opening up tens of thousands of jobs for some of the most high-tech, state-of-the-art microchips that are going to be in production in the entire world. Articles have even been released about Disney breaking ground in Casa Grande, which is about 25 minutes away from me, on a theme park-like resort, similar to Orlando. So there's huge opportunity happening right next door in our backyard. The Vi resort that's being built up in Glendale, that's about a 40-minute drive away from here. That's going to be an enormous Vegas-style resort with its own water park and a beach and a concert venue, and it's going to be enormous. So there are hundreds of thousands of jobs that have been opening up in just the Phoenix area. So with all this job growth, it's starting to price out places like Chandler because the properties that were built in the 80s and 90s, they're in that 30-40 year range. They're going to be needing some more upgrading, some maintenance. So that job growth is just starting to price people out of the area. Which then brings me to the last con, the HOA fees that are in Chandler. Chandler is a city that is built on homeowners associations. Subdivision after subdivision after subdivision are all owned by HOAs. So with that being said, you'll get communities that have a really good HOA and, you know, they have really good members. Your fees go into a good cause and the parks look great and everything looks really nice. And then the neighborhood right next door has HOA members that are a little bit of a pain and the fees that go in are a little bit higher, and you can see that they don't really go into making the community any better. So it really all depends on where the neighborhoods that you're really looking at. And you can go onto like niche.com. That really helps for finding a subdivision that's going to be right for you. Also, remember, keep in mind, I am a real estate agent and this is what I love to do. So if you need help, you and your family transitioning over, and you need to find the right community for you and your family, leave a comment, shoot me a text, give me a call. I would love to work with you. I got your back. So congratulations, you made it this far into the video. Let's talk about all the good things about living in Chandler. I have been here for about 5 years now, going on 6, and I have to tell you, I love it here. Despite of all the things that I just said about Chandler, I love it here. I know we just went over this in the list of the cons, the job growth. So this is one of the biggest pros happening right now, is the fact that there's so much employment happening right now. The opportunity that's popping up left and right in the Chandler area is insane. Now, given I already did mention Taiwan Semiconductor, Intel has moved here, Microsoft planted their roots here. So there has been exponential growth when it comes to the job opportunity here in the Chandler area. Santan Mountain Casino just opened up. That created several hundred jobs, and they're not even finished yet. They're still building, it's still growing, there's still going to be more jobs available. So the opportunity here is almost endless. That leads me into pro number 2, which we're going to go into, which is the healthcare in the area. So in my 5, almost 6 years of being here, I've had a couple of medical procedures. I have nothing but great things to say about the healthcare available here in Chandler. We have Dignity Health. We have Banner Ocotillo was just recently finished. Chandler Regional Medical. There's Valleywise Community, Mercy Gilbert, given that is in Gilbert, but that's literally 10 minutes away from here. The availability, the quality, the accessibility of healthcare that we have here in Chandler is one of the best that I've actually ever experienced. So families that work in the medical field, if you're looking to transfer in the area, this might be a good opportunity to do so. All right, let's talk about the third pro, and that is going to be the entertainment that we have available in the Chandler area. Now, I'm not talking just about the local venues like the Chandler Center for the Arts, Bourbon Jack's, Courthouse, the Stillery, but you have access to places like the Rebel Lounge up in Phoenix, the Nile Theater, the Marquee in Tempe, the Voodoo Lounge. And that's just the music venues. Like me, if you're into concerts and local shows, then this is the hot spot. All these places are anywhere from like 20 minutes to an hour tops. And I'm telling you, every day there's some big act that you're going to find, even at a local place. And I'm a metalhead. This is one of the biggest metal hubs in America. Now, that's just the musical venues. Let's talk about the festivals that Chandler has. Now, when we have festival season, it runs from September to April the following year, and the amount of festivals that we have is crazy. We have an international film festival. We have an innovation fair. We have an ostrich festival, which is essentially just a fair. Also has big concerts there. A barbecue and beer festival, a jazz festival, an Oktoberfest, a taco fest, a chuck wagon cook-off. It's crazy the amount of festivals that we have just in the Chandler area. Which bring me to my next pro, which are the demographics in the area. Chandler has such a wide variety of things to do when it comes to young people. I mean, like the 20s, the 30s, the college crowd, anyone with kids, and 55 plus community when it comes to senior living, memory care, Chandler has it all, and it accommodates for everybody. It is so spread out with the variety of entertainment and accommodations that we have with the different varieties of age groups. So, for example, playgrounds, play areas. The Chandler Mall has a whole area dedicated to kids. There's a big chessboard out there. There's all kinds of games and activities for kids to play at so many different locations. Splash parks in the summertime, like I mentioned earlier, they're scattered all throughout the area. And there's the Crayola experience, also at the Chandler Mall, which is a huge building dedicated to nothing but Crayola. It's amazing. So younger families that are starting to raise their kids here, this is a great hotspot for children activities and anything for their kids. As well as the parents, there's downtown Chandler that has tons of trendy restaurants and bars. We're definitely not leaving out the 30+ crowd, which I hear that they're actually going to be redoing a big part of Boston Street, which is one of the main roads that one of the big blocks that run through there. They're going to be redoing that. So I'm really excited to find out what the result of that's going to be. And Chandler is also amazing for the senior community. We have a huge area dedicated to 55+ communities, senior care, memory care, amazing 55+ golf resorts, and every single one of them that I've seen are so accommodating. Great people, great security, amazing accommodations. Chandler would be a beautiful place to lay your roots if you happen to be looking in those communities. Which brings me to the final pro, which are the schools here in Chandler. Now, I gotta tell you that we have some of the highest rated schools in the entire valley. As you can see on the screen, that there are riddled with 9s, 8s, 10s. There's a few 7s and 6s in there. There might be like 1 or 2 6s, but even the 7s, they're still really great schools. I've heard nothing but great things about every district. Kyrene district specifically, I've heard some great things. They're really sought after areas. The programs that they have available when it comes to STEM or robotics, or even the IEP programs when it comes, if you have children that are on the spectrum. I know plenty of people that have autistic children, and when it comes to the IEP programs that are available to them, everyone has nothing but great reviews about them. So all the programs I've heard in the area for regarding education are amazing. So if Chandler's the place that you're looking for when it comes to education aspect, trust me, we got it down. Now, as a quick honorable mention, we'll go ahead and throw this one into when it comes to the highway and freeway systems here. When I first moved here, I thought everything is so close. And when I mentioned earlier, everything is either 20 minutes away or 45 minutes away to an hour. It's really not a bad drive. You're not experiencing a horrible situation when you're on the freeway, with the exception of rush hour. Of course, every city has their rush hours. But for the most part, if you're looking to get anywhere in the valley, the freeway systems are damn near immaculate. And when it comes to new construction, they put them up with the quickness. There is no waiting. There is no lollygagging around when it comes to the highway construction around here, or the freeway construction. They get to it and they get it done. Remember, I'm from California. It takes 9 years for them to fix 2 miles of road. That's an exaggeration, of course, but still, you get the point. So there you have it, the 5 pros and cons of living here in Chandler, Arizona. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you have any questions, remember, I am a real estate agent. This is what I love to do. If you have any questions, reach out, leave a comment, give me a call, text me, message me, email me, whatever you need. I got you. And if you liked the video, you found it informative, go ahead and give it a like. Go ahead and give the channel a subscribe. It will definitely help me out. And make sure you click the little bell so you get all notifications on all things Phoenix, Arizona Living, the official channel for getting to know the Valley and the Sun. Until next time, I'm Evan Picorni. Go for Poco, eXp Realty and Expert Collaborative. Take it easy. See you next time.